Welcome. I'm Michelle Marchant Johnson with Love Life Coaching, and I'm here today with a wonderful guest expert, and that is Valerie Greene. Welcome, Valerie.
Hi, Michelle. So happy to be here.
So happy to have you. And Valerie's website is Coach Valerie Greene with an E on the end, .com. So Valerie, I just want to ask you a couple of questions to give people just a little bit of a flavor for you and some of the things that you might share. In your experience, what is one thing that you see that is a common challenge that prevents people from having the love or the relationship that they most deeply desire?
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I see a lot of people that say that they're ready for love, either single people or people in relationship that they want deeper love. But we have a lot of unconscious blocks. And those could either be limiting beliefs about what we deserve. A lot of times it was those limiting beliefs were created based on the way that we either did or did not get our needs met from our parents as children. And since I am a coach and not a therapist, the way that I help people heal those blocks is through doing emotional healing work, but it's more focused on visualizing the love that they want and just noticing how those blocks come up in their body. So it could be something like, I don't deserve it. Or it could just be that a belief that you created about men from your teens or 20s or 30s, like all the good ones are taken, or I'm too old now, or I don't look attractive enough, or any of those beliefs. It's important to identify them, and they kind of come up in our body, right? Like you might say in your mind that you know what you want, but it comes up as a feeling in your body. And what I help my clients to do is to go into that feeling. And then I practice neurolinguistic programming. So I help people reprogram those beliefs either through as it lives as a sensation in your body, or through guided visualizations to actually, because a lot of times it's a limiting belief, but a lot of times it's a fear. Mm-hmm. You fear that you'll either be abandoned, and that causes us to have all kinds of defenses. And, usually if we fear being abandoned, we get needy and clingy and demanding and wind up pushing someone away. I mean, we're smiling, but it's sad that happens. Or the other end of the spectrum, we're scared of losing ourselves in relationship and feeling smothered by somebody else being needy and demanding. And either way, the key skills to identify there, once you've reprogrammed the limiting beliefs, are how to stay connected to yourself, to your feelings and your needs on a regular basis, so that if you are scared of being abandoned, that you can self-soothe those emotions by, I teach guided meditations for that as well. And I also teach ways to help people to connect to their feelings and needs on a daily basis so that they're not abandoning themselves. Because a lot of times what happens is when somebody isn't as available as we want them to be, we abandon ourselves. And what that means is we go up into our head and start overanalyzing the situation, or we start making ourselves wrong and self-doubting and going into self-criticism, like, oh, maybe I did something wrong. And all of that is abandoning this vulnerable part of yourself that has these feelings where you feel disappointed or you feel lonely, and really learning how to self-soothe. And you can call it reparenting, like being with that younger part of you who is scared of being abandoned, because the truth is that as adults, we can't really be abandoned. Children and disabled people and, people in nursing homes can be abandoned because they need someone else to survive. But as an adult, we don't need someone else to survive. We can really be emotionally present to ourselves and be present to our needs and get those needs met in a healthy way, in another way, before this person has really committed to meeting them. And if you're scared of of losing yourself, it's the same thing as learning how to advocate for your needs in a way that is collaborative and honoring of the other person, so that you're not just being a doormat and letting yourself be controlled by the other person. And so it's really learning both those skills to reprogram the limiting beliefs and also the right skills to be able to connect to your feelings and needs and get them in a healthy way. And I've noticed that once people really feel confident that they have all those skills, then they can actually let love in and be truly ready for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was so well said, Valerie. And for those of you that are listening, you have to hear the full interview from Valerie by clicking on the link below and joining us for the full event, because Valerie goes into a lot more of detail on this and actually models some of this for you as well. So you can have some tangible takeaways that you can begin implementing right now. But Valerie, I have one last question for you, and it's kind of like the flip side of the same question, which is, what is one thing for someone that's just watching right now and just catching this video in the moment? What is one thing that someone can do right now to begin to prepare or to have a breakthrough toward having the love they desire?
Yeah. Yeah. And I always like to empower people that they can do this on their own. Of course, I love working with people, but there's a lot you can do on your own. And so what I recommend people do is just really get clear on that vision of love that you want. Like, how does it look? What's the perfect date that you could be on with your dream partner? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Like, really take in all the sights and the smells and the tastes, if there's taste, and the textures, and how does that feel in your body to be swept off your feet or whatever experience you're looking for. And then just notice, is there resistance inside me? Is there a part of me that's scared or that doesn't want that? And then what you can do is just identify that, oh, that's a belief that I don't deserve it, or that's a fear that I'll lose myself, or whatever it is. Just identify it. And then the simple thing to do is challenge it. Like, is it true that I don't deserve it? Like, what are all of the ways, like, challenge that belief, like, come up with evidence to the contrary. What are all the ways that I am receiving love in my life now? And what are all the reasons that I do deserve it? Like, that's something that you can do on your own, is just challenging that part. And if it's a fear that, you'll lose yourself or that you'll be abandoned, it's really learning how to identify your feelings and needs. And something someone can do on their own is just look at the modality of nonviolent communication, because that's a whole modality about how to connect to your feelings and needs, and really learn the language of it so you know how to speak about it in a way that is empowering.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being so generous and sharing your wisdom. And again, please, if you're listening, be sure to click on the link below to join us for the full event. And you'll hear a wonderful full interview from Valerie. And Valerie, I really want to thank you once again for joining us and for your contribution. Really appreciate it so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
Okay, see you soon, and bye-bye for now. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.